Ooh, could it be? Could it be? Come back this way, bud. He's got a bit of toe about him anyhow. Oh, there we go. And that is getting a bit better as far as bream go. Every good fishing trip starts with a bit of preparation, and tomorrow morning, right on first light, the plan is to be at the mighty Tambo River chasing some bream with some good old-fashioned bait. Now, first of all, we need to get the bait. And getting bait, there's an easy way and a hard way. Today, I'm taking the easy way, and that's this way. It's a lot of ways. Come with me. Afternoon, Wendy. Can I get some sandworms, some crab, and some local prawn? Because a lot of us are time poor, it's absolutely critical to have the right bait when you go fishing. Fresh is best, live is even better, and because we're time poor, most of us anyway, being able to come to a place like this and buy live local bait can really make the difference to your whole trip.
There you go.
Thanks, Wendy. Look at that. Beautiful, fresh, frozen local prawn, and local prawn is way better than just any other prawn, but this is the really exciting stuff. Look at that. Local crab, a whole box of them, and that there is one of the best things you could ever use to catch yourself a seriously big bream. They're not going to catch every bream, but they'll get the big guys. And for most people, Gippsland, bream, you couldn't go without having a box of the local sandworm, and they are as good as you will get. Big fatties just like that, made for big Gippsland bream. Thank you. For $22, a whole box of bream is on our way. I'm going to catch up with some mates for dinner tonight, so fishing tomorrow morning, but for now, I'm out of here. Can't wait. A little bit chilly, but that's what it's all about. Winter bream fishing. This is the Tambo River, and I'm right down here near the mouth. And what could be better than fishing no more than 4 or 5 metres from the car? It's just on first light, so I'll get the gear set up, and as it gets light, hopefully there's going to be some beautiful big bream cruising up and down these edges here. We're going to do a bit of this good old school bait fishing. I can't wait. I've got 3 of my 4 rods baited and basically in, and I'll run through a little bit later when we get a bit more light about the gear and the rigs, but for now I'm just trying to get fishing. There we go, that's what we wanted. Oh, there goes the other one. I think that's a crab too, this one. That's a crab, that's the crab. That's my favourite bait for catching a big fish. I'll just pop that out and I'll explain in a little bit what that rubber band's doing around the foregrip. Again, it's just starting to be able to see into the water now with this little bit of light, and the trouble with that is that all of a sudden you go, oh, there's a stick there and there's a stick here. I might just grab this net. Oh, he's all right. He'll do. Oh, he's not bad. Getting that fat head about him. And it's too good, I reckon, to be able to come down and fish, as I said, no more than a couple of metres from the car. You can bring the family down and catch what is an absolutely sensational fish. Look at that, that early morning sun on that fish is just awesome. They've got quite a big mouth, and they've got those fangs at the front that are made for grabbing and crunching stuff and ripping, you know, barnacles off logs and stuff, and those big round molars, they'll crush up oysters and everything. First fish of the day, and I'm pretty happy with that for a start. This guy smashed a bit of the local prawn, and the local guy said to me, you need local prawn, that's what the fish are eating. Well and truly, it's the #1 bait at the moment, and it is so vital. If I can give you one tip, when you go somewhere fishing, go to the local tackle store, because they know what's going on and they can really shortcut your whole fishing journey for you, because they can send you to the right area, they can get you the right bait or get you the right lure and have you catching fish like this. send this guy back. I'm hoping we can do much better than this, but as a start, very, very happy with that. Not only is it great that we're fishing just a couple of metres from the car in what is a perfect land-based fishing situation, the rig that we're using is very simple as well. 4 to 6 pound mono fishing line on the reel, and the reason for that, it needs to be thin and it needs to be very slick. These fish are quite smart and quite timid, especially the big guys, so you need everything to be really thin. And the pro bream anglers, when they're fishing with lures, quite often they're fishing 2 pound mono straight through. Then down to a ball sinker of various sizes. This is a size 1, but I've got zeros and double zeros, and the idea is I want to be able to stagger the baits from, you know, in short to out towards the middle of the river, down to a tiny little Black Magic rolling swivel. That's their 2 to 3 kilo swivel, although it is much stronger than that. You couldn't bust this over snapper tackle. Then 4 or 6 pound Black Magic fluorocarbon leader, about 1.5 foot to 2 foot long, and a range of hooks depending on what bait you're going to use. On my sandworm, I'm using a KL10. That way the fish sucks it in, turns and gets hooked in the corner of the jaw. On the prawns and the crab, I'm using a KS in anything from a 2 to about a size 1. You want to match the hook to the bait you're using, even more so than the fish you're fishing for. No good putting a tiny little hook into a crab that's, you know, as big as a 50-cent piece, because that hook will get lost in amongst that fish. There you go. Sinker, swivel, leader, hook. It's all too easy. There we go. Come on. Let's get this belly of line out the way. Oh, stay away from there, mate. There's a few stumps that I can now see. Definitely moving through in patches. You'll get a couple of bites and it'll go quiet, and a couple more. And all I've got to hope for is that a couple of big ones come through. Back this way, bud. He's got a bit of toe about him anyhow. For a small fish, you can actually see him sort of punching his head down into the bottom, trying to cut me off. And in years gone by, there used to be some huge fish kills in the Tambo River. I can remember as a little kid reading a fishing magazine and seeing photos of guys literally with the bottom of the boat just covered with hundreds and hundreds of big bream. But thankfully these days, we've got bag limits and a better managed fishery, and we're reaping the rewards because there's a lot of bream this sort of size, bigger and smaller, to be caught. All right, there we go. I'll just ditch that rod there. That is a much nicer bream. We're starting to get there now in size anyway. And you can see here, if I roll him over, very fat through the belly, in prime condition. And this guy just scoffed a bit of the local Gippsland prawn. That's a bit of the prawn hanging out of his mouth. I can just see the hook inside his mouth. Basically the eye of the hook's right there inside the crease of his mouth, but I'm not even going to try and get it out. I'm just going to cut it off and let this beautiful fish go. All these fins are perfect, none split, hasn't had a rough time, and he's got a nice small head, big fat body and a small tail, which would sort of indicate that it's a young fish. When they're other way around, big head and they're a bit lean through the body and a great big tail, it means they're old and they've probably had their best days. So I'll cut this guy's line off and I'm gonna pop this guy back to go and do some spawning so we can come back next year and catch a few more bream. And guys, there is nothing wrong either if you want to take a feed of these. There is a bag limit for anglers to be able to come down here and catch bream to eat. They do taste good. But for myself, I'm just here for a bit of fun today, so I'm gonna let that guy go and keep on fishing. If I don't break an ankle or fall in the water before I finish the day, I'll be doing well. What's he doing? They like to push up high in the water column, these fish. Come on, please be a better one. It's been really quiet and for a while, and I was just sort of hoping that, you know, you just get that 1 or 2 bigger ones maybe that come through, and quite often I've found over the years that when you're bream fishing, if you're catching lots of little ones, that's all you're going to catch, is lots of little ones, because they're there in numbers and they'll sort of, you know, annoy the big fish. When it goes quiet and you take a bit longer to get a fish, it can quite often be a better one. There's a big snag there. Don't go that way, pal. I've got to follow this guy. Get out of there. Trouble is, I'm sort of watching where I'm going and I'm not watching where that line is. He's not that big actually, he's just gone like a big fish. Stay away. Ah, no, 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 no. He's got me in a bad spot here. I've got to guide him back. I'm just trying to guide him more than anything. Done him. And that is the problem with fishing good ground. You've got structure all through here and that's what brings the bream. It also cuts your leader, especially when it's only 4 pound. But he wasn't a huge fish, so I'm not too disappointed. All right, this has got my biggest sinker on it. So this one goes furthest out into the river. And the gear I'm using is a range of rods, a couple of little whiting rods just there, my 2 to 4 kilo Imperium sticks, and I've got 30 size spinning reels. I've got 2 Avengers and 2 of the little Goth, all of which are loaded with 4 pound Suffolks that is just hair thin. This then goes to my bank rod holder with the rod sitting nice and flat. And the final little trick that I have, because these fish can be quite timid and you might want to let them run with the bait a little bit before you strike, you'll see every rod has a rubber band around the foregrip. And it's a very simple matter then of opening the bail, getting a loop of line and just tucking it under one of those like that. When the fish comes along and he grabs the bait, he pulls it out of that rubber band, then it's a totally open bail and he can pull line off the reel without feeling any resistance. It's an absolutely deadly method for trout, bream, snapper, whatever it may be. Any fish that's going to be tentative, it's a fantastic way to fish. Let's bite. Got him. You sit here, nothing happens, you check a bait, you cast it back in, and it gets eaten in no time. And I literally put this in the water 2 or 3 minutes ago after it had been sitting out there for ages. Trouble is, the bank just comes out about 2 or 3 meters and then it just tapers off. And once it tapers off, I just cannot see what's actually there. I'm just going to grab my net just to make the whole landing process hopefully a bit easier. Some of these fish have actually got a bit of go about them. Some just come in quite easily, but this guy doesn't want to come up over that ledge. There we go, there he is. Yeah, happy with that one. I'll get him up here so we can get a better look at him. That's a nice bream. And you can see even before I pick him up just how fat this fish is. There we go, that's the rig. A 00 ball sinker, straight down to a hook. It's very, very simple. On what was a big prawn bait. That is a beautiful big bream, and that is what these Gippsland rivers produce. It's strange how these fish quite often just shoot out and up to the surface. It's also sort of interesting too that how the fish even change hour to hour on the baits that they want. First thing this morning, prawn was good. Then I had a few bites on crab and now it's gone quiet. And the sandworm was good too, but the sandworm was producing small fish. And now it's gone quiet. The sandworm's been getting a couple of bites and everything else has remained fairly well untouched, but the sandworm's shining once again. Could change in the next hour, who knows. He's a nice fish actually. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. Into that little crevice there. Let's put that down. Alrighty. He's a nice fish, look at that. Good sign too when they've got their fins up like that. It means they're in good condition. When they lay them down, it means they're really not happy or they're not well. It's actually got a bit of a mark there. The scale's been knocked off. For now, send him back, mate. He's off. We are right in the middle part of the day and it has definitely slowed down. So I'm going to make a move, and it's not a big move. I'm just going to go a little bit further up the bank towards that snag up there, because there's every chance that just that little bit of structure, it may congregate those fish during this sort of, you know, bright sunny part of the day. It's obviously very clear, it's very calm. But either way, a change can make a difference. A short move of 200 or 300 metres, and instantly when I put my Polaroids on, I can just see the structure difference. What was a steeper taping bank up further is now giving way to a much flatter, slower taper that goes out probably 10 or 15 metres, and it is a worm bed. I can see all the dimples in the bottom. There's rocks and stuff here, and then out further there's obviously that tree, but there's stumps and bits of timber that I can see sticking up. It's gonna be a good enough bit of structure to hold a few fish. The only thing is going to be is if I can get them through those bits of timber, but we'll give it a shot anyway because it's quiet everywhere else. I'll get the gear out. Oh, that's good. He's run right out over the top of that snag if I can just keep walking across. But the thing that concerns me is that he dragged me through the timber for like 10 metres. So you can hear that drag going. I've got basically no pressure on this fish, and I'm just trying to lead him because there's a whole lot of stumps here. And I was thinking a minute or so before this thing got eaten, I thought I got to get out of here because there is too many snags, and just constantly losing fish isn't great. On the upside, the problem is that this is where the fish are. I don't even know if this is a big fish because I just can't even give him any curry. And this is the thing too, I'm just trying to guide him. I'm not trying to pull on him. I'm not trying to dictate terms. I'm just trying to guide this fish. And you can see that as long as I'm just going really gently on him, he's just going gently on me. There we go. I'm in a bit safer water now. I've got him between the bank and those sticks out there. If I can just lead him in, and he's not a big fish, but I tell you what, I think to be able to just fish land-based no more than 5 metres from the car and catch one of Australia's most common species is a pretty cool thing, the southern black bream, and he scoffed that prawn. I'm going to send this guy back. Come on, mate. There we go. Too good. Let's check this line now because that will be absolutely trashed. Yep, after being dragged through all those snags. Wrecked. No, it's all good. Very, very simple process here. Local Gippsland prawn, a little size 2 KS, and as all I'm going to do is feed that into the tail of this prawn, then feed him down. And it's interesting, the bites I've had have been on unshelled prawn too. I've got 2 rods out with prawn, one's shelled, one's unshelled, right? So that's hidden down in the body there. I'm just popping that head off, but you can leave it on, but it'll generally just fall off anyway. And then just a half hitch around the tail, just the same as you would if you're doing a pilchard for snapper fishing in Port Phillip Bay. That is the bait. And that's just going to lay on the bottom like that and provide great hooking exposure when any fish comes along and sucks that bait in. A little bit finicky, and I reckon it could be time of day. That sun's still quite high. And considering it's winter, it's very, very warm today. So hoping that as this light gets back down a little bit, that it'll fire the fish up again. Ooh, could it be? Could it be? Quite often when you get these big bream, they don't do a huge amount at the start because you're not pulling that hard on them, so they're not really freaking out, and this guy's just sort of come up and swum out into the middle of the river. It's that funny time of day too, the sun's getting low, there's that last little bit of heat in the sky, and I can pretty well be assured that in the next 10 minutes it's going to start to cool down. In the next hour, not only is it going to get dark, but I reckon it's going to get quite cold. Come back this way, bud. You can see that sinker up on the line. And that's the whole idea of a running rig, that fish grabbed that bait, it popped out from the rubber band and you had the open bail and that sinker laid on the bottom and the line just flowed straight through it as this guy swum off with the bait. I'm really hoping that there's no snags here. This afternoon light's making it hard to see in the water, so I don't know if there's a snag or something right here. So I'm sort of just hoping for the best. Ugh, that's a bit slippery, that rock. I don't think I want to stand there. What have we got here? He's slightly better, I think. Hard to see. I can hardly see in this water at the moment because it's that time of day. Nah, about the same size. Which is not uncommon either, that you'll find patches of fish that are all sort of similar size. He's a bit better. Actually, yeah, he's got a bit more weight about him. That's a nice fish. Definitely so far, sandworm and prawn doing the job. And that is getting a bit better as far as bream go. There you go, mate. He's off. Too good.